Rosendo explicitly said not to work with Rutherford.
Which is why we should do it.
What? No, why?
Because the world requires other perspectives. You can't just do what one person says.
But this is my perspective, that we shouldn't do the opposite of what Rosendo said.
You've been trained to just think what other people tell you to think. You aren't a philosopher.
I don't want to get kicked out of the guild.
Isn't Rosendo part of some other thing? The curators, whatever that is?
Yes, the curators are the guys who hire. They do the hiring. They hire guild members.
Well, Rosendo is hiring.
Illegally!
The important thing is that Rosendo is going to take us deeper into these monster mines and prove once and for all that adventuring is the dumbest profession ever conceived of.
Well, I'm not going.
Fine, I don't care. You don't have to. Elvis, come on, let's go meet this Rutherford guy.
Okay.
Elvis, wait. If you go do that, you're going to get kicked out of the guild.
Not necessarily. What if we don't get caught?
Well, but what if you do?
Then, Larry, what if we get caught?
Then you stop being an adventurer.
I don't follow your logic.
You never do. Come on.
Okay.
Elvis, he is clearly leading you astray.
Well, you could come too.
But I don't want to get kicked out of the guild either.
Okay.
So, wait, are you going?
Yes.
Paul, you do not have to go. Just stay here at your temple and pray hymns to your god of pants or whatever.
It's the god of physical attainment.
Physical attainment, pants, whatever.
It's not whatever. Glute elevates nudity. Not wearing pants is the ideal. It's just that we're not legally allowed to.
Really? You know, I really like this god Glute. I just wish it weren't a religion. I could get behind it.
What if you guys don't go to Rutherford, I give you some eggs?
I have not been eating a lot.
Elvis, no. We'll eat out of the trash, thank you.
Oh, well, I guess that's that. Sorry, Paul. See you later.
Well, but... Okay. Well, if you guys... Look, someone ought to go. Maybe we'll just check it out. But... Larry, it's not fair for you to jeopardize Elvis's shot at this whole adventure thing. He's the only one who really cares about it.
I thought you cared about it, Paul.
It's not the adventure that I care about. Look, I just don't want to screw up my shot with the guild. That's what I'm focused on, okay?
I am ignoring you. Irrelevant. We're going to Rutherford.
Okay, fine. I'm coming with you. Just hang on.
You make your way down south. You find that Rutherford's house is on the river. It's kind of nice looking. It's not too big, but it is 2 stories. You approach the door.
Oh, Paul, you know what I just realized was really funny? You accused me of leading us astray, but you're a cat, which makes you a stray.
I'm not a stray. I belong to the temple.
All cats are strays. They don't belong to anyone.
Oh, Larry. If Paul's a stray because he's a cat, that means that you're a lizard.
Yes, Elvis, I'm a lizard man.
Because cats are strays, but lizards are, not thought to belong to anyone.
And we don't, you might observe. I don't belong to anyone. Now, I knock on the door.
Rutherford answers the door. Looks like he's taken off his jacket. He says, "Ah, well, that was quick. I'm glad you made up your mind swiftly."
I don't belong to you.
Not as yet. Would you like to come in?
No, because I won't be taken in. I am a free-roving reptile.
Yes, we'd like to come in.
Oh, now you want to go along with him.
Right this way. Rutherford goes in, leaves the door open behind him.
Wow, Larry, that was a very strong political play. Now he knows we're not up for grabs.
Or he thinks we're crazy.
Well, you know what they say, you can't control a crazy person.
That's what straitjackets are for.
Do you think he has one of those? Okay, then we should be safe.
Rutherford, do you have a straitjacket in there? I'm asking for a friend.
It's me, I'm the friend.
Is that some kind of drink? I could make you one. I've got brandy, sherry, whiskey, vodka, you name it. Bitters.
I go in. The cat man will have some milk.
Actually, I don't like milk. It kind of upsets my stomach.
I'm not hearing an actual drink request.
I will take your positively finest wine.
Oh, very good. Well, let me see what I've got. Vermithkin 192. Does that sound good?
Yes, some of that, please.
He goes to get you a glass and starts to pour you a drink.
Wait. I cup out my hands and I hold them out. Just pour them in here, please.
You want me to pour my best quality Vermithkin into your palms?
Please do.
You're the guest. He pours a little bit of the wine into your hands.
Hold it up triumphantly. Show it to Elvis. Behold.
You got wine in your hands.
I have wine in my hands.
They're gonna get sticky.
This is a profound lesson I'm teaching you, Elvis. Think about it.
I think I understand.
Good.
You should always carry a spare handkerchief.
No.
Well, anyway, I suppose we should just get right on to the meat of the business, shouldn't we?
I drop the wine in a houseplant.
Well, that's fine. They say love makes a plant grow stronger. Anyway, I would actually like to figure out what is motivating the 3 of you. Normally it's money, but in your case, the 2 of you have expressed that you explicitly don't want to be paid, and the 3rd of you is, I'm not sure. Well, let's start with you.
Oh, I don't want much. I just want to be the world's greatest adventurer.
Okay.
And I'm going to prove that's a meaningless ambition.
And check. So, the third one.
I just want to see deeper down.
That's it? You just want to see?
Isn't that the entire mission of the curators?
Well, Rutherford swirls his drink. Sort of. The mission of the Curator Society isn't just to see, it's more to know. Are you familiar with the concept of information brokerage?
Sure, yeah, it's like selling knowledge or
It's
whatever.
close. You see, an information broker's job is to gather up knowledge because it's always lying around here and there in little bits and scraps, and then you package it all together into something that you can use. Now, the curators do dabble specifically in the dungeons themselves. We're most keenly interested in how they work and why they're there. But of course, those are the very big questions, and if you could answer that, then you'd be worth quite a lot of money. And that's because the answer to that question isn't just something simple like because someone built it. There's the why, but more importantly, the how. And how could we do it ourselves? Imagine if you could just create one of those summoning gemstones and summon infinite resources for a while. And why didn't whoever made this temple do that?
Because it is an aberration of good living.
Lots of people aberrate good living. For example, you might take your finest wine and pour it into a man's hands, and then he would just drop it into a houseplant.
It was a powerful lesson. I'm sorry you didn't learn anything.
You didn't tell me anything, and I assume that's because there's no one-word explanation for why you did that.
It's a very complex lesson, and if I had to spell it out, it would undermine it.
Well, there it is. You yourself, sir, are a complex package of information, and if I could get to the how and why you do what you did, I might replicate that behavior myself. If I knew why the civilization that built this temple didn't use it to just farm resources like we do, then perhaps we wouldn't be farming it for resources, and that's the view that most of the curators hold. But of course, that's not the pragmatic view of other elements of the city who have realized that this is an endless source of iron ingots and other kinds of exotic materials.
Do you know how much work goes into creating a glass?
I don't. And you know what does bother me far further? The fact that your group ran into a giant fog-breathing skeleton in the first layer of the dungeon. That's something I believe that we should have an explanation for.
Okay, now wait. I think that maybe you're overcomplicating things.
And then again, you may be right. Perhaps I am. So, escort me further into the dungeon, and then we might have an answer as to whether or not Elvis, your adventure really means anything, or Lowry, if we're completely wasting our time. And Paul, you will maybe just get to see something that no one else has gotten to see.
That would be great, but I don't really see the advantage of us taking that legal risk. We'll be thrown out of the guild if they catch us.
Oh, I doubt it. After all, people go down there all the time without sanction, and they're never caught. In fact, if the three of you would like to offload some of your findings down there, or trade them for additional sources of information, not necessarily monetary goods, I could see to looking for some channels.
What kind of information?
Well, I don't know. What kind of information are you looking for?
I want to know about people who've gone down there before.
Tricky, but doable. Anyone specific?
I don't think that we know each other well enough for me to give you a weakness like that.
Don't trust me, sir.
You are a criminal.
Oh, now that hurts. It's true, but it hurts. Well, Mr. Paul, you might be smarter than you look, because you shouldn't trust anyone in this business.
Except for you.
Not even me, in fairness. Mr. Paul is correct.
But if we can't trust you, then does that mean that we can't trust when you tell us that you can't be trusted?
I mean, if any of this comes to light and my person is jeopardized, I will immediately throw you all under a car.
That's what I thought.
Furthermore, I don't think I'd like to discuss my exact mission until we get down there. After all, I can't be blabbing everything I do to someone who are just prospective hires.
So you can't even be upfront about your goals.
No, I'm afraid not. Although, what are the intentions of the guild? To pay you practically nothing until you die? Honesty isn't always better. There can be good pay and certain amounts of loyalty tied to discretion.
Will we get to slay a dragon?
I'll give you a giant lobster, but I shouldn't say any
Oh
further.
boy, a giant lobster. Lowry, can we please?
Do we have to slay a giant lobster?
I can't say for sure. Maybe a giant lobster, maybe
Oh,
not.
I hope
You
we
can't
get to
toy
kill
with
a
us like
giant
this. I
lobster.
don't want to fight a lobster.
So, Elvis, Lowry, are you in or are you out?
I'm in.
Out. Definitely out.
Even if it means that proving this whole adventure thing might be a little bit more humdrum and less exciting than Elvis thought.
I see what you're doing, and I don't like to be manipulated.
Well, that's fine. I don't really need all three of you.
Okay, you can't do that. I'm absolutely going.
And you, Mr. Paul?
Okay, so here's how I get it. We're going to go down with you. We're going to get to see you do something that you don't want other people to know about. And then I'll know what that is, and then we'll talk about what I want.
Very shrewd and very fair.
So, we have a deal?
I believe we do. He holds out his hand for a handshake.
All right, I shake it nervously.
Wonderful. Well, in that case, I'll see all three of you tomorrow morning. Rutherford then sees you out the door.
Guys, if we're not supposed to trust anyone in the business, we're all three of us in the business. I already don't trust myself, but what should I do?
Elvis, trust is just an illusion.
For once, we can agree.
Don't agree with me. You always get it
Oh,
wrong.
wait, what were you going to say?
Trust is just a form of pattern recognition?
Yeah, and it's a pattern that you can't trust anybody.
No. I mean, you can't trust male lizards. Those guys are jerks who will steal your mates. But you can trust women.
You can't even trust women. Independence is the only thing that'll set you free.
What about moms?
I don't know about that. My family left me when I was an egg.
Uh-huh, okay.
I mean, your parents should be there for you.
My parents are the whole reason I'm doing this. Oh, hold on, you guys are guys. Does that mean I can't trust you?
Again, trust is just a pattern thing. Do you recognize a pattern of trust?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why?
Well, so far, Lowry has done everything he said he would, and you, Mr. Paul, have fed me eggs.
Well, you know what I don't get? Why Rutherford would hire us? Like, what does he get out of it, aside from probably an ulcer later?
Why would he get an ulcer?
From stress.
You don't get ulcers from stress.
Yes, you do.
No, you don't. Otherwise, every stressed person would have ulcers, and they don't. Ergo, stress does not cause ulcers.
Okay, maybe you have to be predisposed towards ulcers.
Guys, I think we can trust Rutherford. He wouldn't have warned us not to trust him if he wasn't an upstanding guy.
We have no basis of patterns for Rutherford.
Yeah, all we know is that he does stuff he's not supposed to do.
I think that's also true for us, though.
And yeah, you know what? About that, a little disclosure would have been nice before you signed me up on your team.
Did you want to be a dungeon guy or not?
I had kind of a different vision for it, you know.
I bet if we wanted more information, we could ask Rosendo why he doesn't want us to work with Rutherford. He does have patterns established with Rutherford.
I don't want to do that.
If we tell Rosendo that we're, like, seriously thinking about working with Rutherford, he's gonna know.
What if he's understanding?
We have no basis of pattern for trust with Rosendo?
Yeah, you can't trust anybody except yourself.
And your mom.
I don't know that we've established a basis of trust for moms either.
I have my mom cooks me pancakes.
Paul?
I don't know.
See, we don't know.
Well, my mom is in the guild. We could go ask my mom what she thinks of Rutherford. She might know him.
Hardly seems fair to Rutherford. Why don't we ask Rutherford what he thinks about your mom?
Because I don't know Rutherford, but I do know my mom, who I trust and love.
But you only know your mom as a mom. Do you know her as a coworker? As a hired killer?
Oh, yeah, she's got tons of stories. My mom has killed hundreds of people.
Ah, but all told from her perspective.
Your mom's a hired killer?
She's in the adventuring guild.
Yeah, but I thought that they mainly just did stuff in the dungeons.
Oh, no. The guild goes outside of the city. They were mercenaries originally. You know, like sellswords? A band of swarthy murderers and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, my mom was a mage and an archer. She killed so many people.
Well, then does your family do anything internally?
Oh, yeah. They climbed the ranks with outside jobs and then kind of came down and settled into the city. They're highly respected in the guild, but they don't go down very often.
Well, then how do we know that your mom knows anything about Rutherford?
We don't, but we could ask her.
But then I'd have to meet your mom.
Uh-huh.
And I don't feel like we know each other well enough for that.
Yeah, this'll make things weird. I don't want to talk to your mom.
Oh, man, I get that. I don't know when it stopped being that we could just bring friends home to meet our parents, but I also felt that way once I turned like 13.
I mean, it just sounds like she's bigger in all this than I thought she was.
Well, she's definitely put on a little bit of mom weight. She likes to admit. But the biggest put off is all the jokes. My mom loves puns.
Okay, so that is a nail in the coffin. We are not going to ask your mom about the guild.
Fair enough. We should stick to kids our own age who are cool and hip with the times.
Well, hang on. How old are you? I'm like 23.
We're almost in the same age group.
I'm 53.
In lizard years?
No, in regular man years.
Okay. Well, that's still cool. You know, that means that you've seen a lot of coolness come and go.
I mean, is that younger than your parents or older?
I don't know. How old are my mom and dad?
I don't know them.
Because you haven't met them yet.
Look, I don't want to learn more about Rosendo if it means meeting your family first. It's too awkward and I don't want to do it.
Okay. Well, we could just blindly trust this stranger and go down in a deep, dark second location with him. I have been warned by my parents, who I trust, that sometimes the dungeon is used as a place to get even in a noisy and fatal fashion. But it doesn't seem like Rutherford wants to get even with us, so he probably won't kill us.
Yeah.
And I am cool on going in exactly that amount of information if you guys want. It is more adventurous that way, and it makes me excited.
Well, cut it out. It's gonna be boring.
Long stretches of boredom, punctuated with tons of excitement.
No, he's gonna make us look at crystals. He's not gonna do anything exciting.
He promised a lobster.
Lobsters are boring. I've seen lobsters before. Have you ever seen a lobster do anything interesting?
Actually, no. You might be right.
I am right.
Okay. Well, now I'm not as excited as I was. But I'm still ready to go along with Rutherford if that's what you guys want to do.
Think that's where we've ended up? Was there a better option?
There are hundreds of better options. The world is nothing but better options.
That's too many options.
Yeah, shut up. We're gonna do the one right in front of us.
Okay.
Okay, so that's it. It's decided. I don't want to argue about it anymore. We trust Rutherford with our lives. It's done.
Okay.
All right, Mason, we go home.
Back to the Temple of Glute you go. Your minds and hearts abuzz with all the potential, or possibly not, of what will come tomorrow.